Hi, everyone. I'm Laura, the life coach, and I am excited to be with you today and share with you how to manage family dynamics. We all know that the holidays can be stressful. If you've ever watched Christmas Vacation, and you would recognize this family that's on this page. And I don't wish that for you. Granted, they have maybe a few moments of joy and calm and peace, but for the most part, I think it was pretty stressful on a lot of people. So today's going to be very interactive. Get a pen and paper. We are going to tap into your inner wisdom so that you can find peace and calm this holiday season. Sound good? Okay. Let's move to the next page. Okay, the goal is to get you from A to B. So as you can see, Mrs. Griswold in the picture on the left is buffering. She's pretty stressed out. She's grabbed a cigarette. And she says, well, I don't know what to say except it's Christmas and we're all in misery. Do not wish this for you. But picture B looks a lot more delightful, right? They look peaceful, they look content, they look happy. That's what I wish for you, and that's what I hope you'll get out of this workshop today. So here's the question, is this you? And chances are this is you, or parts of this is you, because that's why you're here. You dread family dynamics over the holidays. Your family makes the Griswolds look like a dream. The in-laws, exes, and extended families will all be together for several hours, maybe even days, and you are destined for drama. Thinking these things, you tense up. You're anticipating maybe criticism from somebody like your mother or mother-in-law or some other pesky person in the family. You feel like you've done all these things to prepare for this family get together, but it's not going to be good enough. Somebody will judge you for it not being perfect. You can't sleep at night, worried about the inappropriate or uninvited comments that might be said, and this might set you off. And in general, you just feel like nobody appreciates you and all you've done for them. What you're going to learn today is that you have a choice and you have power over who you want to be when situations present or when people do things that you don't care for. You're going to learn to stop taking things personally. You're going to learn to first show yourself kindness and compassion, and then to not only have boundaries, but also to follow through on them. And if you invite and stay until the end, I invite you to stay until the end. There's a few freebies, and I'd like to offer you for the holidays, and I will also answer any questions that you might have. Okay. So the first question, who do you want to be? As I mentioned earlier, you have a choice and you have power over who you want to be when situations present. So think of a family scenario that could create drama. And please journal your answers to these questions. One, again, who do you want to be when the going gets tough? How do you want to show up? And there's a couple different options. You can let your primitive brain, which is our typical human brain when we're not aware and thinking about what that we have control over it. You're going to let that take over and let fear create drama. It's probably what's happened in the past. So we're here today because I think we want to do something a little different, as in B. Do you want to access your higher self, the one that accepts, the one that forgives, the one that loves, no matter what? Describe the thoughts you'll be thinking to get this result. Okay, so please write down, who do you want to be when the going gets tough? And describe the thoughts you'll be thinking to get this result. Give you a minute to do that. Okay. We'll move on to the next question. How do we not take things personally, right? It's kind of our nature. When somebody says something that we don't like, it seems like it's happening to us. And we take it personally. But what we need to remember is that their behavior has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So it's their conditioning and their life experience that results in their behavior. What I always like to say is, like, you only have to be with them for a few hours, maybe a day or two. Imagine being in their head and living their lives every day. So I say too, if you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. If you squeeze somebody who maybe doesn't love themselves, lives a really stressful life or had trauma in their life or what have you, just that's what you're going to get. You're going to get somebody, if you squeeze them, you're going to get somebody who doesn't love themselves. So guess what? They project that on you. So here's the question. Here's the next journaling exercise. What would it look like if you didn't take their behavior or words personally? Okay. Would you have to see their words as untrue? Might be another way of looking at it. It's usually when we find some truth in what they're saying that it gets to us. But if we say to ourselves, well, that's not true, and we really believe it, then it really shouldn't bother us, right? It's just something, it's just words that they're saying. And the next question is, part two is, what would you need to believe to make this happen? So to not take things personally, what belief would you have to have in your head? Maybe about them or about you, so that you're not taking things personally. I'll give you a minute to journal on that. Are you ready for the next exercise? That would be showing compassion. So when we understand that it's their conditioning and their life experience that results in their behavior and that it has nothing to do with you, you might just be the person in the room at the time that's getting their words directed at you. What role will compassion have in this scenario? So let's start with yourself, right? Because it always has to start with us. So what self-compassion statement can you make for yourself in this scenario? Maybe it's, I'm good, I'm great, and nothing they say will bother me. Or I love myself, and therefore what they say won't affect me. Part B of this is, what compassion statement can you make for the pesky people, as I call them, a pesky person? So maybe that looks like, I realize they're not aware of their behavior, or maybe they're just not filled with love and compassion for themselves, and that's why it comes out the way it does. So maybe just whatever comes to mind for you. So write a statement for them. And when you're done with writing that one, so now you have two statements, one about how you're going to love yourself and one about loving them. How are you going to integrate these into your life? So it's one thing to write it on the paper now and then put that away and never look at it again. But how can you put that somewhere in your daily life, especially when they're with you over the holidays, to remind yourself to love yourself and to love them and to have compassion? You write it on a post-it note. Maybe you put a reminder on your phone. You do what you think is going to work for you. And finally, let's talk about having boundaries. So having boundaries is about honoring yourself enough to tell our truth and communicate with love our boundaries and what we will do if a boundary is crossed. So I don't know, a scenario I can think of is maybe there's somebody in your family that swears a lot and you don't appreciate that when your children are around. What boundary can you set around that? And how can you communicate it with love? So maybe it's, hey, Uncle Jim, we really value, clean language. We work hard to try to keep our language clean in here. And we invite you to do the same while you're here at our home. Maybe that's how you present it. And, understanding again that people are conditioned and hopefully, well-intentioned, that if they do swear, that you bring it up again and say, hey, remember when we talked about that? I'm really serious about this, and I know it might slip, but I'm gonna have to ask my kids to be, separated from the adults if you're going to talk like that or something like that. So not necessarily asking them. The boundary would have to be something that you could control. So if it's separating your kids, it's easier than asking your, Uncle Jim to leave. So what will you do if somebody crosses your boundary? So just think about your scenario and be prepared with how you're going to present it in a loving way and what you're going to do about it. Give you a minute to journal on that. So what do you do if all else fails? So far, you've decided who you're going to be. You've written your self-compassion statement and your statement for someone else. You've decided you're not going to take things personally, and you've set boundaries, but you're still feeling a little bit stressed. I like to call this a 1-minute retreat. And what I recommend is isolate yourself outside of possible, hey, the colder the better. Let's snap ourselves out of this situation and take 5 really deep breaths. It'll take 1 full minute by using this count. That's all it takes. And it will calm your parasympathetic nervous system so that you'll be able to go back into the situation with a much calmer feeling and demeanor and be less reactive. So let's practice doing this together. I invite you to close your eyes and start by taking in a deep breath for 4 and then hold it for 2. And most importantly, let it all go, all that stale air, let it go from your belly with 6 counts. Number 2, let's breathe in for 4. Hold it for 2, let it go. Let your shoulders relax, let your face relax, let your body relax. Let's do number 3. 2. Let go of all that negativity. And for 4. 2. Let it all go. Feel your body melt. Last one. Breathe in for 4. Hold it for 2. And then let it go. When you're ready, open your eyes. Hopefully that was helpful. Just even thinking about some of these scenarios and these people can make us uncomfortable. So this is a tool that you can use. The other tool is just being comforted knowing that you will get through this. You did last year. There's history. There's evidence that you will get through it again. This year is not going to be the exception. You're not going to get hurt. Everything's going to be fine. And I think this year with these tools and just journaling and bringing to consciousness who you really want to be and how you want to show up and having compassion, I think this year is going to be an exception. So lastly, find humor and grace. Hey, when things don't go as planned, really, we have to laugh at ourselves and laugh at other people and then just let it go. It can be easier said than done, but try to let it go. So just to recap, again, you have a choice over who you want to be when situations present. You don't have to fall victim to the situation. Your brain will want to default to all the negativity. But you have a choice to access your higher self and really show up differently. Stop taking things so personally when you realize that people are behaving not because of who you are, but because of who they are. Take some pressure off. Also to have that compassion for yourself and for others, and take that compassion statement, write it on a Post-it note, put it in your phone, put it somewhere where you can access it to remind yourself just to love. And finally, have boundaries and follow through on them. It's important that we do this in a loving way because the other people might not know what's coming, and just maybe explaining your point of view and why you value what you value and why you have certain rules in your house. Maybe they'll respect that. I want you to know that this deck is going to be posted on my website, www.expandyourpossibilities.net, under the page 2022 free holiday gifts. And I also have some more gifts for you this holiday season to bring you peace and calm. One is a free 45-minute coaching session. So those are going to be available through December 19th. There's limited spots available, but if you just need to, solve a problem, maybe it's about the holidays, maybe it's about work, maybe it's about family, anything. This is my gift to you because I know this time of year can be stressful. So just email me and I'll send you a booking link. I'm also offering an introductory coaching package. My sessions are usually more expensive than $100 each. And they're much longer in duration, but just to introduce people to coaching. Maybe you've never done coaching before and there's a scenario that you really want to figure out. 3 sessions is what I'm offering for $300, and just need to buy by December 14th. Again, there's limited spots available. Just email me and we'll get you on the schedule. And you might be asking, well, what kind of results have I gotten for my clients? Like, what kind of problems have I helped them solve? So I have a few situations. So I've had moms that have come to me that are stressed out, feeling like a bad mom, kind of beating themselves up. And they leave feeling a lot of inner peace, having a completely different outlook on themselves, on their family, on their lives. I've had people come to me who want to lose weight. They feel lethargic and just not their age. And I've helped them lose those last 10 pounds. I've helped them feel younger, more energetic and strong. I've had people come to me after a bad divorce and feeling unworthy of love and or a new relationship. And they've, through our coaching, fell in self-love, compassion, even for their ex, and ready for new love. And the problem I see most often with women is they're just trying to do it all, right? Saying yes to everybody but themselves. I love to help these women who just feel stressed, depleted, tired, uninspired, say yes to themselves. It's amazing how their lives, their well-being completely transform as a result. I also want to just tell you about our my last Lunch and Learn workshop, which is this coming Wednesday, the 14th. It'll be at lunchtime as well, manifesting peace and calm this holiday season. So we're going to do some vision work, being your future self. A lot of fun, a lot of journaling. So you can register at my website on that same page I've mentioned before. So this is the vision I hold for you this holiday season. Instead of this, I hold this vision for your family. Kumbaya, right? Everyone holding hands and feeling peaceful and calm and loving each other. And more importantly, most importantly, I hold this vision for you. May you find your moments of peace, calm, and get outside, enjoy the fresh air, enjoy all the special moments the season brings. Um, so hold this vision for yourself as well. And with that, I want to thank you so much for being with me. And with the time that we have left, I would like to take any feedback or questions that you might have. And I'm going to stop the recording now. And then I'll take your feedback and questions.